Welcome to the second edition of Song Minor, where you can watch a song go from the original idea all the way to the finished product. My name is Jonathan Byrd. Today I'm writing a song with my friend Abbie Gardner from the band Red Molly. The single is already out. Check the description for the links to download and stream Fog on the Mountain. And stay tuned to watch us take this idea from a
scratchy little phone memo
to a cut and polished gem of a song. I've written songs with Abbie Gardner before, and in fact, we won awards for radio airplay for two of her band's albums. I really wanted to produce the second episode of Song Minor with a co-writer, and I thought Abbie Gardner is probably the one with our long history of writing together. So one of the most important aspects of co-writing is that you be able to share every dumb idea with your co-writer. You have to be vulnerable. And if you're not, then you get bogged down in analyzing your ideas before you share them. So Abbie was the first one, the brave one, who threw down the first idea. And it started with a phone memo that she made while she was on tour. And I asked her what the idea meant to her at the time.
It's never only about the fog on the mountain, is it? As I've been touring by myself lately, I have taken to just singing in the car. It's new for me. I used to tour with, there's 3 girls in the car. I wasn't singing to myself, but now I do. And I was kind of trying to calm myself down. I was trying to get to a gig and there was some fog, but I couldn't tell if it was safe or not. And, I used to just push through and it's always about get there. But lately, it's not the most important thing. It is important still, but it's not as important as my life and staying alive to do the next gig. And I can just see that a little more clearly right now. Songs are so interesting that way. They kind of get into the stuff you don't want to think about and the stuff you don't have an answer for. I was dealing with some repetitive stress problems, some nerve pain in my hand, and headaches, neck pain. I was getting pain when I played my instrument, and that is just like the most heartbreaking thing. I was going to doctors and I was trying to figure it out, and that was another kind of fog in my life, like what is happening with my career. And the amazing thing about songs, and especially songs that have these old melodies and old feeling, really rooted, rootsy kind of vibes, they make me feel more rooted. Working on them, playing them, listening to them from other people just gives me this way of feeling more grounded and emotionally solving problems that are unsolvable.
Do you want to hear this mumbled like fog?
I do.
Should I play Fog on the Mountain or Fog Mountain Ideas 2? We'll go with the original.
Fog on the Mountain
Classic.
Sounds awesome.
I see fog on the mountain, don't go when there's fog on the
You hear that?
You don't know what you can't see. There's fog. And there's fog on the mountain. Don't fog on the mountain. Don't go.
I was trying to pretend like there was a village in the valley that like you're trying to warn somebody, like don't go over the mountain when there's fog on the mountain.
Yeah.
Because there's like, it's unholy that the clouds come down and touch the land.
It's unholy.
Yeah. You know how like when there's the parting of the clouds in the sky and like the sun comes through and that feels like God shining down on you. That is, and then the fog is kind of the opposite. It just swallows everything. I was thinking, it's like the devil's breath. Like he's just
The devil's breath. We're using that. So I love that. Don't go. It's like, it kind of gives me this feeling inside, like maybe there's a reason for this person leaving. And the reason to tell them not to leave is because there's fog. Like just wait a little while longer because there's fog. It sounds like you're singing to someone. So I'm just like assuming that there's a relationship there. And there's a fog in the relationship.
I like that added layer of meaning.
What were those other lyrics you had? Like, I see fog in the mountain, don't go.
Down here in the valley, it's clear. When there's fog on the mountain, don't go. And then if there's fog on the mountain, you don't know what you don't know.
Now, right here, we switch from working on lyrics to working on music, and we don't even talk about switching. I just picked up the guitar, and Abbie just went with me. Continue to say yes to your co-writer. It's not really important whether the idea works or not. What's important is that you continue to deepen your relationship of trust and deepen the flow between yourselves. And you will try things that don't work, but you will get to the thing that works because you've developed a relationship of trust and of a yes. What about this this music? So you have like a simple bit of a melody, but do you have any other melodies that could sort of diverge from this melody?
It'd be nice to have to break out of that, stick a chorus in there afterwards. All on a mountain. It'd be kind of cool to have a section that's like a little foggy.
Yeah, you know what I was going to say is that it sounds a little happy.
I don't care. We can completely ditch this melody. I really don't care at all.
I mean, we can go minor. You can use the F natural chord.
Yeah, let's try minor. I like that.
Fog on the mountain, don't go. Something like that kind of a...
That sounds way more like what I was picturing in my head. I like how your voice sounds on that high D.
Don't go. The whole song should kind of be mysterious, right? Like tell a little bit of the story, but not too much.
I was thinking at the beginning how you're like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? You know, with the,
right.
with the technology, but it's the same
right.
thing with the fog.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Maybe the narrator is saying, don't go, but I don't know if they're just like calling out to the mountain or if they're actually in the forest looking for somebody.
So Abbie's referring to the moment that we first signed into Zoom. We're like, can you hear me? Can you see me? Our bridge for this song literally came from that moment that Abbie just mentioned. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
When I'm going back and forth between the major and the minor, that's another part of the fog. At the third part of the melody where you went up, that's a chance to go major in a big way. Right, that's an A.S. Mitchell note there. Now I'm feeling like I wanted that, repeating that ba 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 da ba is maybe too much.
Right. I kind of want something to like make it a little crooked in the middle there. You know, when the echo comes off the mountain, it's changed. Devil got in there.
The breath of the devil. I keep coming back to that. Like, how do we get that in there?
Devil's breath? Is it breath that's easier to...
Well, it was the devil's breath, and I was just going da ba ba da ba. It's like the breath of the devil kind of fit into that phrase, so I wrote it that way.
Yeah. I bet he's got some real stinky breath.
Somewhere between a swamp and a locker room.
Many souls have been lost.
Many souls have been lost? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's some deep, dark hillbilly shit right there. Many souls. And what you're about to hear is the first thing that sounds like a song. It's not the song. Not even close. Because I tend to get trapped in the little tiny details of a song, every single word and syllable and how that relates to this note or the major and the minor or the dominant seven versus the whatever, nobody thinks about songs that way. Only songwriters think about songs that way, and they only think about songs that way when they're writing them. So it's helpful for me just to pick up the guitar and sing what I've got, even if I know it's not the final version or even close to the initial version of it, just to sing a verse or a chorus and feel how it feels. Now, I was recently watching the Beatles documentary, Get Back, and it was fascinating to see that they really wrote songs almost entirely in this mode. They would just play and mumble things and feel how they felt, and I think that's maybe why they were so successful as popular songwriters, because that is the way that most people experience the song. Most people don't even think about songs at all. They just feel them. And this is a way for myself to get into that space where I can feel the song, experience it as most people would experience it. It's a songwriting reality check. Fog on the mountain, don't go, don't go.
follow your soul. All that is true. But here in the valley, it's clear, it's clear. Stay in the valley, you don't know what's up there. Dark as the mountains and deep as the sea. There's no way to tell. You'll come back to me. We have the literal fog, and then we have maybe a fog in the relationship between these people. And then we have this like the fog of the world. Like, what is happening in Afghanistan?
Yeah, the fog in the world. Like, I can just picture someone like being outside and trying to like reach through the fog. Like, you can't reach somebody. But then also you're hearing all these echoes of maybe animals or whatever. Like, he's bending the sound and he's twisting it. And what's the truth?
All the voices I'm hearing. What's true? What's true?
Yeah, what's an echo and what's you?
Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah, I love that, like, the need to know the truth. That whole bending of the sound thing, really. Because you can't tell what direction something is coming from, you know?
Right, right.
When the sound is echoing. And then if it's dark and there's nature and, you know, you hear something scream, is that a person or an animal, and is it behind you? I think also just the idea, like, I can't touch you. I was saying reach, but it's more about the actual, because when you touch something, you know what it is. You know it's true. And also just that human connection about touching someone.
I love how Abbie is talking about her feelings and the way things feel, and she's even acting it out, and she's trying to feel the way the character inside the story would feel. And I want to take a moment to mention something called object writing. So as a songwriting teacher, I am standing on the shoulders of giants. One of those giants is Pattison. And Pattison calls this object writing, when you take 5 or 10 minutes, you set a timer, and you just write about a place, an event, a thing, like a coffee cup, and you write about your senses around that thing for 5-10 minutes. My computer that's in front of me is square and cold and blue, unlike the faces on it that are warm and radiant. And you just keep going like that and describe something, and you do what Abbie is doing, which is looking for the way that something feels so that you can find the words that convey that feeling to your listener. Object writing, Pattison, Writing Better Lyrics is the book.
The sound that I'm hearing, what's true, what's true? It's bent by the devil. What's the echo? What's you?
Yes, yes. I love this. I just like babble out some stuff, and then you make it make sense.
I got a circle here and an X and an arrow. It looks like football plays.
Can you hear? And if your instrument went down while you were singing up.
And you hear me. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like two people going different ways in the woods, you know? They're just like, I like it. It feels lost. So throw that in there somewhere. Oh my God, yay!
We're feeling some things. So now is where we part ways and the song doesn't feel like it's done. But that's okay, because we're each going to work on stuff.
Yeah, this is really cool. I think it's a really strong start.
It already sounds
really
great,
fun.
Abbie. Yeah.
Thanks,
all right.
Byrd. This has been really fun.
Now, after this Zoom session, Abbie worked on it by herself. I worked on the song by myself. We sent each other phone memos. We had a whole other Zoom session, like a 3-hour Zoom session where we worked on it some more. All that process went into just a little bit, because I feel like 85% of the song is done now. But that extra 10, 15%, in my experience, is always the hardest. It always takes the most work, the most patience. It's where you really pull your hair out. I mean, that's what happened to me. But it's also worth it to take a song from being a pretty good song that you can share with your friends to being a great song, a song that goes a little further, a song that becomes a part of people's lives, a song that other people want to sing. And for me as a commercial songwriter, a song that can compete in the global jukebox. I sign into Spotify. I can listen to any song in the world. I don't have to listen to your song. Maybe you don't have those commercial aspirations that I have. But a song that means something to people, that becomes a part of their lives, that is what songs are for in a primal sense. So I don't want to share that whole process of all the next Zoom session and all that stuff with you in this little YouTube video, but I do want to share just a few moments that were the culmination of all that work, where we suddenly understood the narrator in a different way. We understood who the narrator was talking to. We understood the feeling of the song in a different way. And that 5, 10, 15% that got us to where we felt like it was 100%. And we could put out a song that we were really proud of to the whole world. I was thinking about repetition in melodies and how it might be more satisfying to break up the repetition and then come back to it. There's fog on the mountain, I know. Don't go. Then on about something down, I did don't live and there's fog on the mountain. Push me, there's fog on the mountain. Like same thing, like do a bridge, but end it with that phrase. It's so satisfying when you come back around to it. Maybe? All right, I'm gonna work on writing a dummy lyric so I can sing something with that. Scrambled eggs and toast, I love the most when there's a fog on the mountain. The devil breathes a dew that swallows you. There's a fog on the mountain. Okay, so I was just messing with this, and I kind of started making it about moonshining. Up there on a clear day, just maybe you've seen a trail through the laurel on down to the spring. Though you may be drawn, you best move on when there's fog on the mountain. The devil's diamond dew will swallow you when there's fog on the mountain.
Nice. Oh, I like it. Yeah, the devil's diamond dew thing, I kept coming back to that for sure.
If you've ever listened to any bluegrass, you should know what we're talking about at that point. All right, talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, Abbie had this fantastic idea to turn this into a ghost story, that the narrator could be a ghost who's warning people about the fog on the mountain, that maybe they succumbed to the fog on the mountain in some way. A man might disappear. You best stay clear when there's fog on the mountain. Can you hear me? Now that it's a ghost, it's like haunting the mountain. Blood like whiskey flows over the dam. Nobody knows like a low country man. The devil's diamond dew will swallow you when there's fog on the mountain. We were writing about moonshine before, and now there's just this one word, whiskey, that kind of gives you a clue to that, but it could be anything. It could be the actual fog. That's the danger. I love specificity too, but I also love when something is just beautifully open to interpretation. Though you may be drawn, you best move on when there's a fog on the mountain. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Not that that means anything, but 3 minutes, nice, tight 3-minute song. Could have been a song about bikers, you know? When there's hogs on the mountain. Like, this is really cool. I could just ruin it right now. I like thinking about that, though, and knowing that it's wrong. I like knowing that it's wrong. Now, about 10, 15 minutes ago in this video, I asked Abbie what this song idea meant to her going into it. I didn't have that same emotional investment going into it. But looking back on it, now I do have an emotional investment. And this is the last recording that I made with my band, the Pickup Cowboys. I wouldn't just like break up with my band on a whim. I love those guys. We did a lot of great work together. And I was facing that fog and uncertainty of what was going to happen because I wasn't able to meet my creative and professional goals with the band. And I was losing money, and the live stream was losing money. And I had to make a decision, and I knew that was coming. and there was the danger of losing fans or losing support. On the other side of it now, in producing this, I feel like it was worth it. I hope that you feel like it was worth it. I hope that if you support me, that you feel like you've supported my growth as an artist, and that you can say yes to me, just like I said yes to Abbie, and Abbie said yes to me when we were writing this song. I hope that you can say yes and allow me to try these ideas and to find the next great thing. And that's what this song means to me now. Looking back on it, was that moment of uncertainty before I made that decision. And with that in mind, this is not the best video. The lighting was not great. Johnny didn't play during the take that we actually used, which was the final take. He came back and played his part later. We didn't film that part. The video is not great, but what you're about to hear is the single that is downloadable on Bandcamp, streamable on Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, all the services. If you want to support me further, patreon.com/JonathanByrdMusic. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and enjoy Fog on the Mountain. One, two, three. All right, take one. 1, 2, 3.
There's fog on the mountain, don't go, don't go. Even an echo can't find its way home. A man might disappear, you best stay clear when there's fog on the mountain. Up there on a clear day, just maybe you've seen a trail through the laurel on down to the spring. And though you may be drawn, you best move on when there's fog on the mountain. Can you hear me? My life to that old mountain mist. I reached for the high ground, it slipped through my fist. Pride was my mistake, I lost my place in that fog on the mountain. Now blood and whiskey flow over the dam. Nobody knows like a low country man. The devil's diamond dew will swallow you in that fog on the mountain. Can you hear? Can you see?
Follow Abbie Gardner, Abbie, Gardner.com. I'll put that in the description. Also, I'll put in the description Pattison, Writing Better Lyrics. Incredible book. Get it, find it, buy it, live it, love it, do it. It'll change your writing. Songminers.org. You can sign up for my next available songwriting retreat where I will make you write a song. It's a beautiful, magical, powerful process, guaranteed. Join me next month on Songminer, where I will share a song that I wrote with Greg Klima. It's amazing. I can't wait to share it with you. And until then, don't forget to write.